Welcome to Adventures in Bonsai. It's been a while since I've made a bonsai video. We've had a real cold and rough winter here. Lost a lot of plants. But I did have one tree that I have been holding probably since last August or so, because I didn't want to plant it in the fall. It's called an Escambron, I believe. I'm not certain. We're going to go take a look at it, and because a lot of people haven't seen the earlier videos, I'm going to try and go through the entire procedure, but in smaller bites. If you do have any questions about this stuff, just look at some of the earlier videos. I think there's over 150 of them. Your answers should be in there. You can always email me with your questions. Let's go take a look. This is the pot that I made, especially for this plant. I think it should be a pretty good match. Let's take a look at this. Is what I believe to be the Escambron. It's got these interesting shaped leaves, trident shaped. Kind of remind me of a vine, an ivy or something. It's got a great trunk. It's really should make a really nice looking bonsai. I've been taking cuttings. The thing's been growing pretty well. I've got this long leggy thing here now, and I'll probably make some more cuttings from what we do today. But let's get on with the procedure. I believe are native to Cuba. Let's take this one here out, and it's a little overgrown in roots. It's time for it to be cleaned out. So the first thing we do is we wash out all the soil that we can. And this is coming out pretty nice and easily, which will make the job a lot easier. I'll be back as soon as I'm done doing this. Okay, I've gotten this thing pretty cleaned out. Try to clean out as much as you can. Sometimes you just can't get it all. The trick is to get rid of all the old soil and get the roots so they're all nice and visible and can be worked with. Okay, I'm going to cut off some of these long roots here. This will help stimulate new root growth and will allow my plant to fit into the pot nicely. The next step is to put in a fresh pad of moistened sphagnum moss, and then we want to fill in as best we can the crags and crevices inside the root system here with the sphagnum moss, so that there's maximum contact between the sphagnum moss and the roots. Remember, we don't use any soil in this system. We just use the sphagnum moss, which kind of acts as a hydroponic growth medium. And because in Florida we have a long growing season, this makes it very nice to have your trees age quickly and to develop quicker than they would normally up north, where it's a slower and longer, a shorter growing season. So I'm just filling this thing here up with sphagnum moss. And now I'm going to put it in. Okay, now my next step is going to be to add sphagnum moss and put it in all around and really pack it densely and firmly, because that's how the plant does best, when it's got a good footing. I do add the sphagnum moss. I usually add it at opposite ends. I put some here, I put some here, I put some over here now. You'll see that it leans towards me. And then when I put some on the opposite side, it pulls it back. And the idea is to get the pressure situated evenly around, but to make sure that it's really firmly planted, because that is the whole trick here. Now I'm going around the rim here and pushing in the excess sphagnum moss with one of my favorite tools, a chopstick. Pushes it down nice, makes the pot look good with the sphagnum moss. And so here we have the plant pretty much situated. It's got nice form, it's got these nice roots here with openings, and It's looking pretty good. Now it comes time to trim this thing down. The first thing I'm going to do is start to shorten things up. This plant has gotten too leggy and too long, and I'm just shortening the long branches up. Okay, so I've kind of shortened things up. Now I'm going to go with the idea of cleaning out the center here so I can see the structure of the trunk better. Now we've got a little bit more vision into here. And now I'm just going to work on cutting out cross branches, branches that just don't seem to go in the right direction for me, and we'll be back. Okay, I'm just kind of finding branches that are crossing, that are running a little too long, like right back here. There's this branch here coming over. It's coming over all the way from over here, so I'm just going to cut it off back here. Shorten this one up a little. Shorten a couple of these up. There's a real long one. That can be shortened. Get rid of some of this dead wood, and I'll be back. I also like to cut back the leaves that are too close to the trunk. It seems to give it a more tree-like look, and you have the branch come out and then the foliage. And as I look, I just see things like these two cross branches here. So get rid of one there and get rid of the other one right there. You got to remember, when these trees get cut, it's just like in nature. When insects eat them, when the wind breaks them, they grow back, and they grow back healthier, usually. They grow back fuller and thicker. So I'm just looking for dead wood here, little pieces, cutting it off. Cut it down pretty short. Remember, you want to take off enough foliage to cover the amount of roots that you've taken off. We've taken off plenty of foliage here, so I'm not worried about that at all. I think when this grows back, it'll really have a nice look about it. I've been cutting off all the dead wood and even some living wood that I just didn't like the looks of. Now I've got a nice branch coming out here, and it just seems to look a lot better to me. So now I'll go see if I can find some surface moss and make this thing look a little better. Surface moss here. I want to show you how I clean it up. Off a sandy substrate. There's a lot of sand on it, and all I do is kind of gently wash the sand out as best as I can. It's okay to leave some sand in there because when you water your plant, the waterings will drive the sand out of the bottom of the pot eventually. So that's what I have now. Now I'm going to put it on the plate. What I do here is take the moss, fit it in. I press it down good. You see how the water comes out through it? That means it's got good contact with the sphagnum moss, and there's a real good chance that it will grow right on its surface. Now I'm going to put some more in here. The tree's been trimmed. I've added some moss here which will grow in. I've put in some pebbles for some spots where I didn't have moss. By the way, for those of you interested, I don't know if you can see these little objects sticking up on stalks. These are the reproductive organs of surface moss. So there you go. And here's the tree, and it's looking pretty good, and we'll see how it does. Okay, so have fun with your bonsai.